Hey everybody, welcome to Barbecue by Biggs. I'm Aaron, and today we got us a big fat butt. That's right, we got a big fat pork butt. We're gonna get it rubbed up, get it bathed in smoke. We're cooking today on a Lonestar Grillz Mini IVS using B&B charcoal with some cherry chunks to layer that flavor in. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back. We were able to get a 10-pound pork butt for only $10 at our local HEB. Man, who doesn't want leftover pulled pork? So obviously with this size of a pork butt, we'll have some leftovers. Our family members can't eat it all in one sitting. So we'll get this thing prepped up and get it ready for the smoker. So we're not gonna do a whole lot of trimming here. We're just gonna trim some of the larger fat and silver skin off the back of this pork butt. It has so much fat in it already that there's no risk of drying this thing out. And realistically, after it's done, we don't want to have the big thick pieces of fat in there. A lot of this will render. It'll turn into just mush, but at the end of the day, don't like the fat in my pulled pork, so we're gonna get some of this fat pulled off. If you like a bunch of fat in your pulled pork, heck, leave it on. You really don't have to trim it all off, but you know, it's gonna render down quite nicely. So we got this thing cleaned up, we're gonna just dry it off, and then we're gonna put a binder on it. There's quite a few things that you can use for a binder on a pork butt. You can use olive oil, you can use mayonnaise, you can use Worcester sauce. We chose yellow mustard. Yellow mustard, you say? Yes, yellow mustard. Yellow mustard used as a binder. You don't taste it. So you just slather that yellow mustard on both sides and the sides of this pork butt, and what it's going to do is it's going to take that rub and it's going to make it stick. Once this thing gets the smoke flavor and starts to render, you'll never ever taste this yellow mustard. And you can do one without and one with, and I tell you, unless you know that it's on there, you wouldn't know that it's on there. You cannot taste the yellow mustard. So use the yellow mustard as a binder, and it'll help your rub stick. Once you get the binder on there, we use these cooling racks all the time. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys. What it does is it allows you to move this thing around without much hassle. So when it gets ready to put into wrap or it gets ready to put into a pan, you're good to go. So we're using the Adkins Western style barbecue rub. A friend of mine gave me this and I'm gonna try it out. Never used it before, but we decided we'd use it on this. You need to put a heavy coating on this. This is a big chunk of meat, so the more you have on there, the better, the more flavor and the more bark that you'll have at the end of this. When you hear us talking about layering flavors on, that's what we're talking about. You got the flavor of the meat, you got the flavor of the rub, then you got the flavor of the smoke itself. So if you're using just oak, it'll have an oak flavor in the smoke. If you're using some oak charcoal and you're using cherry wood chunks like where you are today, you're gonna have that flavor layered on there. You're gonna have the oak layered on there. You're gonna have the cherry layered on there. That's the layer of flavors that you're looking for. So we'll get this out on the smoker and get her fired up at 275 degrees. See y'all out there. All right, we're rolling along at 275 degrees. We're gonna get this pork butt on this IVS Mini. Looking good. Put this thing to bed. We are going to use water. We're going to use a disposable pan right underneath it. Has apple juice, some water, and a little bit of garlic. That way those drippings will get down in it. We're going to use that pan after we're done and ready to wrap it. We're going to drop this thing in that pan and use those drippings. So we'll get that pan right underneath it. All right, we're gonna close it up and we'll come back and check on it in about 2.5 hours. Make sure that rub is set. We might spritz it a little bit, but we do have moisture underneath it, so the bark should be fine. So we'll come check it out in about 2.5 hours. We'll see you guys then. All right, welcome back. It's been about 3 hours. We're gonna check in on this pork butt. We did put water underneath it when we started, so we shouldn't have to spritz it at this point. We just wanna check in, show you what the color looks like and how it's coming along. Here we go. So we're rolling along at 275 degrees. Let's check in on it. Oh yeah, it's looking good. Bark's looking good. Set. Let me get you in closer so you can see it. Bark's nice, coming along good. All right, we're just gonna get a probe in it. Stick a probe in it to the deepest part. That way we can monitor the temperature. Probably won't check on it again for another 3 hours, so we'll get this probe in it so we can monitor the temperatures from outside, and then we'll bring you guys back in. All right, we'll put it back to bed. See you guys in about 3 hours. Hey, welcome back. We're at about 153 degrees internal on this pork butt. We're gonna look in on it, see how dry it is, probably give it a couple of spritzes before we close it back up. So we'll look in on it now. All right, we're still rolling along at 275 degrees, about 6 hours in. Internal temperature, like I said, is at 153 degrees. We'll look in on it and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, the color's looking beautiful. A little bit dry in some places, so we'll spritz it up a little bit. I'll bring you in and let you look at the color. Color's looking good. Coming along real nicely. So we'll get it put back in and let it come up to temperature. We're looking for about anywhere between 195 to 203 or so until it starts probing really tender. So we'll put it back until it comes up to temperature. We are going to put it in a pan here in a little bit when it reaches about 165, 170, and then cover it with foil. But still want to have a little bit of a darker bark, so we'll leave it on for a little bit longer. We'll make sure that it's really wet so it can absorb some of that smoke. So we'll bring you back in probably about an hour and a half or so and check on it. Maybe by then it'll be time to wrap it up. Hey, welcome back. We're at 170 degrees on this pork butt. We're gonna get it pulled off, get it wrapped up, and get it ready to go. All right, we're at 170 degrees internal. We're gonna get it wrapped up. Some moisture in there. I'm just gonna dump some of the drippings off and then use that pan. So the bark's looking good. We'll let you look at it a little closer here. Looking good. I'm gonna wrap it up, get it ready to pull. All right, we'll put it back on. We'll pull it off when it gets probe tender. We're gonna stick the probe back in so we have a good reading from outside, and we won't open it back up till it's ready. See y'all then. Hey, welcome back. We're at 200 degrees internal on this pork butt. We're gonna probe it, see if it probes tender, and then we're gonna pull it out to let it rest if it's ready. So we'll probe it right now and see what's going on. So let's get this thing open and see if it's ready. Probe out. All right, let's get in here and probe this thing. Probe out of there. Oh, I like butter. Like butter. Probing temp about 205. Check it out. Grab hold of this bone back here and see if we pull it free here. Oh yeah. There you go, it's done. So we'll let this thing rest for 30 minutes to an hour and then give it a taste. All right, it's been rested for about 30 minutes. We're gonna get in here, shred it, give it a taste. I'll bring you in. All right, so we're gonna get this thing shredded and give it a taste. Oh yeah, it just pulls apart. Look at that shred. Still pretty darn hot too. We'll pull a piece off. The bark wasn't as dark as we'd like. I guess the rub that we used didn't have as much sugar in it, but it darn sure has a good smoke ring. Let's give it a taste. Give Give you a good look at it there if you can see it. Good penetration, good smoke penetration. Let's give it a taste. It's moist. It's moist, it's juicy, it's delicious. And I tell you, it's hard to go wrong with pork butt. And one thing, if you're a beginner on pork butt, it's hard to screw it up. You can leave it too long, you can overcook it, you can do a lot of things, but I tell you, it usually turns out good. It's hard as heck with the amount of fat that a pork butt has in it to dry it out. So, cheers. See y'all next time.